I never really paid much attention to UFO sightings. I'd read about them from time to time, but my curiosity never went very far. Most stories seemed more interested in mystery than in answers, piling on fantastical details instead of reasonable explanations. That all changed after I watched a so-called documentary that treated obvious hoaxes as genuine alien encounters. Instead of convincing me, it just made me wonder, if so much of this is clearly nonsense, why do some cases still refuse to be explained? So, I decided to go back all the way back to the beginning. In the summer of 1947, reports of strange objects in the sky flooded newsrooms all across North America. The real spark came from a pilot named Kenneth Arnold. While flying near the Cascade Mountains in Washington state, Arnold spotted 9 shiny, saucer-like objects racing across the sky. He estimated their speed at nearly 2,000 kilometers per hour, which was faster than any known aircraft at the time. The press latched onto his description, and a new term was born: flying saucers. Publicly, the U.S. Air Force dismissed the whole thing as an optical illusion, but behind the scenes, they were alarmed. Arnold was a respected, experienced pilot, and his account was supported by multiple witnesses on the ground. Within just a few weeks, more than 800 similar sightings were reported, including what would later become the infamous Roswell incident. The flying saucer phenomenon had officially arrived, and the world would never be the same. Behind closed doors, the Air Force launched a top-secret investigation called Project Sign. The goal was simple: determine whether these UFOs posed a threat to national security. The investigators looked at everything: weather balloons, experimental aircraft, even advanced foreign technology. But after ruling all of that out, a small number of cases remained completely unsolved. These became known as the unknowns. By the summer of 1948, Project Sign reached a stunning and controversial conclusion. Through a meticulous process of elimination, the investigators argued that the most plausible explanation for these unknowns was that they were extraterrestrial in origin. But that report never saw the light of day. When it reached the top brass at the Pentagon, it was flatly rejected. The idea of aliens visiting Earth was deemed unacceptable, a conclusion too dangerous to acknowledge. So, Project Sign was quietly dissolved, and its findings were buried. Project Sign was quickly replaced by a new program, Project Blue Book, and its mission was very different. It wasn't just about investigation anymore, it was about reassurance. The official government position became crystal clear: UFOs were simply misidentified natural phenomena, experimental aircraft, or just plain human error. Those pesky unknowns were brushed aside as statistical anomalies, nothing to worry about. By the time Project Blue Book was shut down in 1969, it had cataloged over 12,000 sightings. Officially, 701 of them remained unexplained. But according to insiders like Edward J. Ruppelt, the project's very first director, the real mission had changed long before that. He wrote, "Everything was evaluated on the assumption that UFOs could not exist. The goal was no longer discovery, it was debunking. The narrative had to be controlled, no matter what the evidence suggested." Then came July of 1952, when UFOs seemingly invaded Washington, D.C. over 2 consecutive weekends. Radar operators at multiple airports and military bases around the capital detected a swarm of unknown objects. They were flying over restricted airspace, including directly above the White House and the Capitol building. There were no scheduled flights that could account for them, and technicians quickly ruled out radar malfunctions. Then came the visual confirmations from pilots and people on the ground. The Air Force scrambled jet fighters to intercept. As the jets approached, the objects accelerated to incredible speeds, some estimated over 10,000 kilometers per hour, and simply vanished from the radar screens. As soon as the jets withdrew, the objects returned. The Air Force's official explanation was a temperature inversion, a weather phenomenon that can sometimes trick radar. But radar experts and even the National Weather Service publicly disagreed. The explanation didn't fit the facts, yet the case was closed. Officially explained, but privately, it remained deeply unresolved. Fast forward to 1964, to a case that even the most hardened skeptics had trouble explaining: the Lonnie Zamora incident. Zamora, a police officer in Socorro, New Mexico, was in a high-speed pursuit when a roaring flame in the sky caught his attention. He abandoned the chase and drove toward it. There, in a remote gully, he saw a shiny, egg-shaped metallic craft resting on 4 legs. He also saw 2 small, humanoid figures in white overalls standing beside it. As he got closer, the figures quickly re-entered the craft. It lifted off with a deafening roar and a brilliant blue-orange flame, disappearing into the sky. The investigation that followed involved the FBI, the Air Force, and top scientists. They found physical evidence for distinct impressions in the ground where the landing gear had been, along with scorched vegetation. But they found no signs of a helicopter, no radiation, no chemical residue, and absolutely no evidence of a hoax. So, here's a question I get all the time. If these things are real, why don't we have clear footage? Today, almost everyone carries a high-resolution camera in their pocket. Shouldn't we be flooded with crystal-clear evidence? Well, the problem is that technology cuts both ways. The same tools that could capture definitive proof have also made it incredibly easy to create convincing fakes. Sophisticated visual effects, consumer drones, and powerful editing software mean that anyone can produce a video that looks real. As a result, even if someone did capture authentic footage of an unexplained craft, it would almost certainly be dismissed as just another hoax. We've reached a point where the truth has become almost indistinguishable from fabrication. In this digital age, seeing is no longer believing. After digging through hundreds of cases, from government reports to witness testimonies, I find myself more conflicted than when I started. Some sightings are very obviously hoaxes, many others are clearly misidentifications of birds, balloons, or satellites. But after you filter all of that out, a small, stubborn number of cases remain. They are well documented, often corroborated by multiple credible witnesses and even physical evidence, and they remain completely unexplained. So what are they? Are we dealing with visitors from another world? Is it secret human technology, far more advanced than anything we know about? Or is it something else entirely, a phenomenon that our current understanding of physics can't even begin to grasp? I want to believe, I really do, but I'm not sure what I'm supposed to believe anymore. So what's your theory? After hearing all this, what do you think is going on? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching.